What if a single event could reshape the entire political landscape of a continent? Imagine the European continent, a conglomeration of diverse cultures, economies, and political ideologies, bound together by the shared vision of unity and cooperation under the European Union. Now picture a ripple in this unity, a seismic shift that has the potential to redefine the very dynamics of this union. Brexit. Brexit, an abbreviation for British exit, refers to the United Kingdom's decision to leave the European Union and the European Atomic Energy Community. This decision was the outcome of a referendum held in June 2016, where a majority of British voters chose to exit the Union. But why did Brexit happen? The reasons are manifold and complex. Some point to a growing discontent among the British populace about EU's policies, perceived as intrusive and stifling to British sovereignty. Others cite economic factors, such as the UK's contribution to the EU budget, and the perceived economic constraints of being part of the Union. The news of Brexit sent shockwaves across Europe. Initial reactions were marked by disbelief, concern, and in some quarters, even panic. European leaders grappled with the implications of a member state choosing to leave the Union, a scenario that was unprecedented and fraught with uncertainty. And uncertainty, as we know, can be a powerful catalyst for change. Brexit introduced a new variable into the European political equation. It raised questions about the viability and attractiveness of the European Union model. It sparked debates about national identity, sovereignty, and the future of European integration. In essence, it opened a Pandora's box of political and economic uncertainties. Brexit also forced European leaders and citizens alike to confront some uncomfortable truths. It highlighted the cracks in the Union, the simmering discontent, and the challenges of maintaining unity amidst diversity. It served as a wake-up call, prompting introspection, debate, and a renewed commitment to the European project. As it turns out, Brexit was not just a British affair, but a European one. It has undoubtedly left an indelible mark on the European political landscape, the repercussions of which are still being felt and will continue to reverberate for years to come. So, how did we get here? Let's take a step back and delve into the chronological events that led to Brexit, the watershed moment that reshaped the political dynamics of Europe. The journey began with a seismic shift in 2013, when then Prime Minister David Cameron, in response to growing Euroscepticism and under political pressure, pledged a referendum on the UK's membership in the European Union. This was to be a defining moment in British politics and European history. Fast forward to June 2016, when the referendum took place. It was a close call, with 52% of voters choosing to leave the EU. This surprising result sent shockwaves across the globe and marked the beginning of a complex and arduous negotiation process. The negotiations between the UK and the EU were fraught with tension. Each side had their red lines, and the process was marked by numerous setbacks and breakthroughs. Key issues included the Irish border, the rights of EU citizens in the UK and vice versa, and the UK's financial obligations to the EU. After years of intense negotiations, a withdrawal agreement was finally reached in October 2019. This agreement outlined the terms of the UK's departure, including a transition period to ease the impact of Brexit. However, the road to Brexit was far from smooth. The agreement faced fierce opposition in the UK Parliament, leading to a general election in December 2019. The election saw the Conservative Party, led by Boris Johnson, secure a significant majority, paving the way for the Brexit deal to be ratified. Then came the pivotal day of January 31st, 2020. It was on this day, at 11 o'clock in the evening, that the UK officially left the European Union. This marked the end of 47 years of membership and the beginning of a new era in UK-EU relations. And so, with a stroke of a pen, the UK was no longer part of the European Union. But what happened after the ink dried and the UK officially left the EU? The political landscape of Europe underwent a seismic shift. The immediate aftermath saw a flurry of negotiations and new agreements. Some were smooth, others not so much. The UK and the EU had to redefine their relationship, not as members of a union, but as separate entities. This created a ripple effect, with each European country reacting in its own way. In France, there were mixed reactions. Some saw Brexit as a cautionary tale about the dangers of nationalism, while others saw it as an opportunity for France to assert itself more within the EU. Meanwhile, in Germany, there was a sense of loss, but also a resolve to maintain the integrity and unity of the remaining 27 member states. As we moved further east, countries like Poland and Hungary viewed Brexit with a more critical eye. They saw it as a chance to question the status quo and push for more autonomy within the EU. The long-term implications for European politics are still unfolding, but one thing is clear: Brexit has reshaped political alliances and dynamics within the EU. It has sparked debates about sovereignty, identity, and the future of the European project. It has also strengthened the resolve of some countries to work more closely together, while encouraging others to challenge the existing power structures. But perhaps the most significant change has been the shift in the balance of power within the EU. With the UK's departure, Germany and France have emerged as the two main powers. This has led to a new dynamic, with smaller countries having to navigate their relationships with these two powerhouses. Brexit has also underscored the importance of political adaptability. It has shown that political landscapes can change rapidly, and that countries must be ready to adapt and respond. It has highlighted the importance of diplomacy, negotiation, and compromise in navigating these changes. In the end, Brexit didn't just change the UK, it changed Europe. So, what can we learn from all of this? Let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've embarked on, tracing the complex events leading up to Brexit. The referendum in June of 2016 was a political earthquake, causing shockwaves that reverberated across the globe. In the aftermath, we bore witness to a Britain divided and a Europe in flux. We've seen how the political landscape has been reshaped by Brexit. The United Kingdom, once a key player in the European Union, has had to redefine its international role. On the other hand, the EU has had to reconsider its own identity without the UK. This has led to new power dynamics, with Germany and France emerging as even more influential players within the Union. But what does this mean for the future? Brexit has set a precedent. It's shown that a member state can leave the EU, challenging the idea of an ever closer union. While the EU has survived this existential crisis, the question remains: is further integration or disintegration the path forward? We've also seen Brexit's impact on domestic politics within the UK. The issue of Scottish independence has been reignited, with many Scots feeling that their vote to stay in the EU was ignored. Northern Ireland, too, faces questions about its future, with Brexit stoking tensions and uncertainties. Economically, the repercussions of Brexit are still being felt. Both the UK and the EU have had to navigate new trade realities. The long-term economic implications remain uncertain, with the UK's post-Brexit trade deals and the EU's internal market adjustments still in progress. In a broader sense, Brexit has been a litmus test for populist movements across Europe. It's shown that issues of national identity and sovereignty can sway public opinion and drive major political change. So, as we stand in the wake of Brexit, we're reminded that politics is not static. It's a dynamic, ever-evolving landscape shaped by countless factors, from economic realities to cultural identities. Brexit may be a done deal, but its impact on Europe is still unfolding. But what does the future hold for Europe in the post-Brexit era? As we gaze into the crystal ball of possibilities, it's clear that the European Union is standing at a crossroads, its future shaped by the choices it makes today. First, let's talk about the challenges. Brexit has undoubtedly left a void in the European political landscape. With the United Kingdom, a key player, no longer at the table, the balance of power within the EU has shifted. This could lead to a period of introspection and re-evaluation for the Union, as it grapples with questions of identity and purpose. The risk of other member states following the UK's lead and choosing to leave the Union also looms large. However, it's not all doom and gloom. With every challenge comes opportunity. The departure of the UK could pave the way for the remaining member states to deepen their integration and cooperation. The EU could emerge from this period stronger and more unified, with a renewed commitment to the ideals of a united Europe. The political dynamics within the EU will undoubtedly continue to evolve. We might see a shift towards a more federal Europe or a return to a more intergovernmental approach. The balance between the larger and smaller member states could also change, with smaller nations potentially gaining more influence. These are just a few of the scenarios that could play out. The reality will likely be a complex blend of many different factors and trends. It's a fascinating time to be observing European politics, with the potential for significant change and transformation. So where does this leave us? It leaves us with a call to action. Now, more than ever, it's vital that we stay informed and engaged with the ongoing developments in European politics. The decisions being made today will shape the future of Europe for generations to come. Only time will tell what the full impact of Brexit will be. But one thing is clear, Europe's political landscape has been forever changed.